Oh, 2% participants. Wow. Oh, 2%. Wow. Just waiting to see if any more people join. Give them one more minute. All right, everybody else can just watch it, the recap. All right, perfect. Welcome back to the RH Made YouTube channel. I'm Carlos, and today we're going to be going over support and resistance and how you can use it in your trading today. All right, so let me share my screen. Let's get right to it. All right, so you should be able to see my screen. All right. So first, let's start off with what support and resistance is. Okay. So support is the floor of the market. Okay. And resistance is the ceiling of the market. All right. So let's see. Let's go up in our charts and let's mark up our support and resistance area. All right. So to be classified as a support or resistance area, there must be multiple rejections. All right. So it can't just be one point. All right. There has to be multiple rejections. Okay. Multiple wicks. If you don't know what wicks are the little lines sticking above and below each candle. All right. So for an example, right? Okay, let's go back in time. Let's find. All right. Let's find good supports and resistance. All right, so right here. Okay. You want to take your tool, your horizontal line, right? And place it at the line of supports and resistance. In this case, this is a resistance zone. Okay, you have, let me get my brush. Okay, you have 1 point of rejection, 2 points of rejection, 3 points of rejection, 4, and 5. All right, you have multiple rejections in this area. All right, it's telling you, oh, oops, I missed one. 6. All right, you have 6 rejections in this area. All right, support and resistance isn't a price, isn't a one line, it's an area. All right, so the way I like to draw it up is I like to put a rectangle, right? I like to put a rectangle. Because as we know, support and resistance isn't a price, it's an area. All right. It may look like a line because sometimes they reject off the same price, but support and resistance is an area as a whole, not just one specific number or one specific line. All right. Oops. Okay. So that would be support. Okay. Support's the ceiling. I mean, resistance. My fault. Resistance. Okay. Market got to the ceiling and couldn't continue. Right. Rejected 6 times. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and 6 times. As you see here. Oops. Get your horizontal line. Right here you have your support. All right, your support. Get my brush. All right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you have 5 rejections off the support line. And if you go back in time, you can see you have a couple more. You have a couple more. All right. So now I'm gonna show you how you find these live. All right. We'll go to a random pair. Let's go to GBP USD. Oops. GBP USD. Okay. I recommend finding your support and resistance on a higher time frame. So anywhere from 1 hour is okay, but I personally don't use the 1 hour too much. I like to find my support and resistance on the 4 hours and up. All right, that's just a personal preference. All right. So right here we have our line of support. Okay. We have rejections here, here, okay, here, and here. And this is your line of support. Up here could also be a support. Okay, you have, okay, at this point in time, it was resistance. Okay, price broke and retested, all right, and it became support. Okay, so support and resistance, the determine the strength of the support and resistance determines how many times did price reject this area, okay, and was the moves drastic after it touched this area. So as you can see, okay, rejected, right, broke, rejected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Each time there was a pretty big move behind the rejections, right? Rejected in this area, right? Made a drastic move. All right. Price hit support, right? Price hit support, bounce back up. Another drastic move. Price hit resistance, okay, and began to sell. Okay. Price made a higher low. So we can tell that we're on an uptrend, right? Price broke this resistance zone, retested, okay, and rejected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, okay. And up here we have some resistance. As you can see, we rejected 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and it's currently at the resistance zone right now. All right, so we're just gonna wait and see what happens. All right, if it breaks and retests, or if it respects this resistance area and continues to sell. Okay, let me show you what they look like on the hour. Oops. Okay, so on the hour time frame, still looking at GBP USD. Okay, go back in time. All right, as you can see, all right, so it's a support and resistance area. It's going to jump right at you. All right, you're not going to have to look too hard for it. You're going to look at your chart, and it's going to be in your face. All right, it's going to jump right at you. You're going to see clearly that price cannot push past one area or another, right? For in this instance, right, we're looking at the chart and we notice a bunch of action down here, right? A bunch of action. If you look, right, if you mark up your chart, you see that price can't seem at this point in time, right? This box, price could not continue going down, and it didn't want to continue going up, right? It wasn't on an uptrend and it wasn't on a downtrend. You have 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejections. Okay, that's telling us that that level of support is strong. Okay, and up here we have our resistance. Okay, in the past, this area was support. Okay, as you see, this area was support. Okay, price broke, retest. Okay, and this area became resistance for a bit of time. Okay, as you see, 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejections. Okay, so an area of support or resistance, right? Once it breaks, it will act as the other. Okay, as you see, this was a support before it was a resistance, right? And price came down, broke this level of support, and the support became resistance. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple more examples. Let me see if we have any questions. Okay, no questions. That's perfect. All right. So let me take this horizontal line again, right? So this line, right? In the past, this was resistance, okay? Past this was resistance, okay? So resistance broke, price retested, okay? You have now your resistance zone has become your support, okay? You have a fake out right here, okay? Another rejection, another couple rejections, all right? And what was once support can later be broken and turned into resistance, as you see here. Okay, price broke this support. Okay, retest. Okay, it wicked twice, once right here, once right here, right? And if we continue to look at the future, okay, price struggled to get past this area of resistance. Okay. So eventually price will break. So as you see, I marked this up all the way back here, right? I was looking at this picture right here, right? And this area of what was once resistance would turn into support, which then price broke and retested and it became resistance again, is now, in later times in the future, held up as support for a little bit, right? Price broke and retested here, right? And continued up, right? Price then broke this resistance, all right? So the older the resistance, all right, the weaker it gets. All right, so if your resistance is from, your support and resistance lines is from years ago, don't expect it to be as strong as it was at that time, right? So you mainly want to look for previous support and resistance zones, okay? Previous support and resistance zones is what's going to help you. All right, so for an example, this area right here. Let me pull out my line. Okay, so this area jumps out at you as soon as you're looking at your chart, right? You see, okay, it was support at one point in time, right? It was support. I mean, it was resistance, my fault. Excuse my language. It was resistance at one point in time, right? Price couldn't pass this point, okay? Multiple rejections, all right? Price broke, retest, okay? Passed the retest. Later on in the future, tested that line again. That line, the support line held up, right? Price then broke and retested, okay? And held up. The market closed, okay? The market was bullish for the weekend, all right? And the markets opened up here, all right? So we're gonna look at another pair. Okay, we're just gonna do, well, just one more example, all right, on how to find them. Okay, so as soon as you look at your chart, this area right here jumps out at you, right? As soon as you see it, you're noticing a lot of movement here, a lot of rejections, a lot of wicks. Okay, it's a lot of noise in this area. All right. As you see, this area is an area of support. Okay, you have one rejection, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, and then it broke. And this support line, this resistance line, my fault, the support line, I said it right the first time. The support line then became resistance. Okay, now let's see for how long did this hold up, right? Price came up, right, rejected right here. Okay, it broke. When it came to retest, it didn't pass the retest, okay? Ended up breaking again. So we know that whenever price breaks an area, it's always going to retest. Whether it's a trend line, a support and resistance zone, price is always going to retest, right? So we get the break again, retest. Okay, this area is resistance again. Okay, we have the retest here. We have another rejection here. All right, this is letting us know that this area of resistance is a strong level of resistance. So we know that if price comes back to this point, we know we have a good chance of being able to sell GBP NZD, right? Delete that, put this back. Right? So each move, but what I mean by a drastic move, right? As you see, each move off of this resistance area here, each was a pretty drastic move. All right, so up here, this was a 168 pip move, right? That's a pretty drastic move. I'll take 168 pips any day. All right, up here, this was a 237 pip move. Okay, I'll take 237 pips any day. It's a pretty drastic move. Okay, hit again, and this was a 560 pip move. Okay, so just letting us know that this level of resistance is a very strong level of resistance. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how it looks like when you're trading live, right? Instead of looking at the past. All right, so as we see, right, this jumps out at you, right? This jumps out at you. Okay, it's nothing, there's no secret, there's no hidden tricks, right? This level right here jumps out at you. I'm gonna delete this line so no one gets confused, right? Pull out my brush. So this line in the future, I was looking at right here only, right? And I noticed that price started off right here, making a low, right? Price made a high. All right, market closed, right? When market was closed, this looked like a downtrend because it was making, okay, high, lower lows, lower highs, okay, lower lows, and lower highs. But the market over the weekend was bullish, right? We got this gap right here. Okay, this was Friday at 5 p.m. This is where the market opened up. Okay, this is where the market opened up at Sunday, 5 p.m. Okay, we're starting to form an uptrend, right? We all see that. Low, high, higher low, higher high, right? Higher low. All right, now it's making a higher high. Okay, so while I was looking at this box, right? So I identified the trend. I know it's on an uptrend, right? I see that this area right here served as a support and a resistance at one point in time, right? It was a support over here, right? It became a resistance over here once it broke. Okay, it broke. This was the retest. All right, you might not always get the retest right away, right? But you're always 90% of the time you're going to get a retest, right? So your retest, right? Okay, and we notice, okay, right? Price made a higher high, came back to test out this level of what was resistance, now turned into support, right? So this is letting us know that price is continuing in an uptrend, right? We have the high point. Let me draw your line. Okay, price broke this previous high point. Okay, price broke this previous high point and is making a higher high right now as we speak. All right, so it broke, retested. Okay, retest passed. Right, doesn't want to break, and now it's on its way. It's on its way up. Right, so now you have to find the next area of support and resistance, so you can tell where price is most likely headed to next. Right, so if we look, so we have a lot of noise in this area, right? We have a lot of noise in this area, right? We have multiple rejections here in the past, okay, right? We have multiple rejections here again. All right, let's check the past how this line held up. Okay, in the past, as you see, I didn't look in the past to mark this up. I looked in the present future right now, right? As you see, in the past, the same support and resistance zone held up as well as support, right? Rejected here, rejected here, and rejected here. And each move was drastic, right? You have a couple hundred pips the first bounce, right? You have a couple hundred pips the first bounce, second bounce, another 100 pips, right? and then the third bounce, 700 pips, right? So each of these moves was pretty drastic. It was a couple hundred pips, right? So now let's go back in the future. All right, so we know that this area of what is resistance now was a huge support in the past, right? So, right, once you've seen this, right, that price made a higher high, okay? Off the retest, that's where you would enter. So you would want to enter right here on this candle right here, right? You got the retest, okay, retest passed, right? This is where you would enter in the next zone, right? The next support and resistance zone that we found, right, was right here. So that would be my target area, right? Because this is the next zone that price can just reach and come down, right? Okay, we're just gonna go over one more example and call it for the day. So let's see. I would just go with Euro USD, right? So like I told you, the support and resistance lines are gonna jump right at you. As soon as we open the chart, right, this area jumps at you. You're noticing that price just can't seem to push past this zone. Right? Price can't seem to break past the zone. It rejected, whoops. Okay, rejected once, twice, okay, 3 times. All right, so I'm gonna go to the H4 time frame for this one. Okay, so now just look at your chart. What other areas jump out at you? Delete that. Put this back up here, right? Okay, what other areas jump out at you, right? This area right here, right, just jumps out at you, right? You have 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3, and 4, right? So these are major support and resistance levels. That's really what you want to look for, is the major support and resistance level. All right, I don't necessarily worry too much about, the little, matter of fact, yeah, I only look for the major support and resistance levels, which are going to jump right at you. As soon as you open your chart, you will notice them. I promise that you will notice them. All right, you have another one right here. Kind of snuck by, right? Okay, this wasn't a drastic move, so I wouldn't even consider this as resistance much. It is resistance, but it's very weak resistance. All right, so you have price broke, retest, right? Price rejected off this support area once, twice. All right. Okay. Right. So price rejected this area twice as support, once as a resistance. All right. If we look in the past, right? Look all the way in the past. Right, price hasn't been here in a while. Right. So this is 2018. As you see in the bottom, I'm on February and January 2018, from February until April, right? This area. Right. So I didn't look at February 18th to mark up this zone that I marked up, right? I marked it up in present time, right? In the future, in the past, this was a support area, right? You see one rejection, two rejections, all right, and a couple, okay, another area of resistance. You have one rejection, two, three, right? So these areas of support and resistance, they're gonna jump out right at you. They're not hiding, right? They're not gonna be hard to find, right? They're gonna be right in front of your face. All right, so let's go back in the present time. So you can do support and resistance on any time frame, 30 minutes, 15, 1 minute, it does not matter. But the higher the time frame, the stronger the support and resistance. So me personally, I like a bigger bag. I like to have a sack. Feel me? I don't want the support and resistance on a 15-minute time frame, right? It's not as strong as the 4-hour time frame. But as you can see, right, I'm on the 15-minute time frame, a lower time frame. There's still support and resistance on a lower time frame, right? As you see, there's one rejection, two rejections, right? This was a line of resistance, right? 3, 4 rejections, okay? A bunch of rejections here, okay? You have approximately 6 rejections on this line, right? But the smaller time frames, these zones can be broken easier, right? With the higher time frames, the support and resistance levels are just stronger. Okay, so me personally, I do my support and resistance on the H4 and up until the month. All right, at least up until the week, at least. You don't have to go all the way to the month, but it's going to tell you a bigger picture, right? So this is the month time frame. As you can see, the month is going to show you all these big support and resistance areas. Let me find my line. Perfect. Right? And like I told you, support and resistance isn't a price, so it isn't just one line, it's an area, right? You, at one point in time, right? This was 1997, as you can see at the bottom, right? This was support, right? Price broke this area, became resistance, right? Okay, price came back, right? Price broke this resistance area, right? Broke this resistance, became support. As you see, the retest came right away. Okay, past the retest, continued on the uptrend, right? Price came back to this area, right? Rejected once, twice, 3 times, and continued on with its move. Okay, price came back again, a 4th time. As you can see, rejected, right? Now it's continuing its path up. Now it's continuing its path up to an uptrend, right? So these support and resistance lines, they shouldn't be hard to find, all right? They should be right in your face, right? You shouldn't have to look too hard for them, right? I recommend flipping through the time frame, so monthly, daily, weekly, and marking your support and resistance, right? Leave the lower time frames alone. I know we all want a big bag. We don't want a quick couple dollars. You know, we want the couple hundred pips moves, right? So you got to look at the higher time frame for those, the bigger moves, right? So that concludes today's lesson on support and resistance. Right? If you have any questions, you can contact me in the RH Made app. You can find that in the iOS or Android, right, for both, or you can log in, join the community online at rhmforex.com. All right, you can also contact anybody with a green check on the RH Made app or website. All right, the green checks are all our educators. They are able to help you with anything that you need. All right. You can catch me lives every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 a.m. Okay, so I will be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Okay, so looking forward to meeting with you guys all. Have a safe day. God bless. Stay humble.